Good morning. Let's get into this. 5 minutes before market open. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for all the kind comments in the chat here. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Welcome, HT. Welcome, Doug. Welcome, Doug and his girlfriend. Welcome, Pistol Pete. Welcome, New Abyss. How's it going? Good morning. Let's get into this. Looking like a real green morning for just about everything. Palantir is just a tiny bit down, but we're not too worried about Palantir in the short term. Hello. Good morning, Cal. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Sneaky Potato. Solid username. What's going on, Neandernauts here in Caveman Capital? All my cavemen and cave women. What's going on? Power Hour. That's right. I got to set up my phone here real quick. Take a look at these nice green pre-market graphs for a second. Just one moment here while I set everything up. You'd think I would have planned ahead and had this set up, but it's a little tired this morning. All right. I think we're good to go here. Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Karen. Welcome. Oh, and a special thanks to New Abyss and Karen, who were mods on my stream with Stock Markets with Bruce last Thursday, I believe. I don't know what was going on there. There was the troll of a century joined that stream and was making literally hundreds of accounts to troll the guest that I had on. So you guys did an awesome job. Blocking those comments. That was absolutely insane. And on top of that, whoever this was creating all these accounts, I assume it was one person, maybe it was more than one, I don't know. Whoever this was buying channel memberships. Like, he was joining, paying money to join, and he made 98 channel memberships. Like, this is the most dedicated troll. I want to know what he had against Bruce. I'm not sure, but it was it was absolutely insane. All right, let's see here. Just taking a look at these stocks right before open here. We got 3 minutes before open. Up 6% on AMC, up 12.5% on GameStop. So there's obviously some excitement going into the markets here on this fine Monday morning we have here. I'm sure volume it's actually pretty high given the fact that it's still pre-market. 350,000 for AMC in the last minute. 166,000 for GameStop. So what do we think is going to happen right on open? You know, it's almost like a 50-50 split. It could go straight to the moon as soon as it opens, or it could shoot down a little bit, shoot down, lose 30% of its gains or so right away. It's always kind of a 50-50 split. I like to let the dust settle. Because a lot of times, you get excited just before open, and then you want to make your investment right away. Then you buy in, and then it might dip for a few hours, or just dip for the rest of the day. And then you're sitting there like, oh, if I just waited an hour, I would have saved 3% or whatever. So it's always, I think it's more often than not, it's better just to let that dust settle and wait a little bit after market open to just assess where prices are going to kind of lie low. Unless you have a real good fundamental understanding of the business that you're trying to dive into, then you might have a specific price target. Like you might look at, I don't know, let's say TLRY, and if it dips momentarily down into whatever your price might be, $18, and you're like, okay, at $18 I'm buying more. That's a little bit of a different scenario. But I think overall, if you just like a company and you're like, I want to get in, I don't know the exact price, probably wait for the dust to settle a little bit. What platform am I using? This is Webull. That's the one that I have pinned up in the comments. If you want to get some free stocks, you can open an account here. And by opening an account, you'll give me a free stock. So if you want to do that, go ahead. All right, let's see here. All right, market has opened. Okay. We shall see what happens here. I think this is going to be an exciting day for GameStop especially. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Just want to slide this over, but I'm not seeing the arrows to do so. Let's see. All right, so we're seeing a bit of a sell-off here right in the start. So hopefully no one went too sicko mode, right? and bought some right away, because we're seeing the dip instead of the jump up. Do I know anything about CCIV? So I know a little bit. I always hesitate to give a real deep analysis unless I've actually like spent hours and hours and hours digging into a specific stock. I can give you my general thoughts. With CCIV, I think a lot of the price has been absorbed. I know that they've had a little bit of a run down in price from its peak. Let's see here. Yeah, so at a peak of $65, now we're sitting at 25. I mean, at these prices, if you can find some kind of resistance point, it might be a situation where you can say, hey, it's probably not going to go much lower than this. It looks like we might be hitting those resistance points, but we have to remember with this company, they recently made their partnership. However, there are no sales yet. There's no product yet. And I believe if you believe in CCIV as a company, if you believe in the management, if you believe in just their sales, their product, I would look at it as a very long-term investment. Look at it like I'm going to have to hold this for probably 8 to 10 years in order for the company to be profitable. Probably, I don't know the exact time range, but I would guess 4 or 5 years before they have any form of product on the line, that's available to any consumer. Okay, so GameStop is shooting up now, almost 20% up now. Holy smokes. What's the volume here? 416,000, 242,000. Let's pop over at AMC here real quick. Almost 5 million in volume in the first minute on AMC. Oh, you know what? Also, last week I got like 5 free stocks from Webull, and they were AMC stocks. So AMC is giving free, Webull is giving free AMC stocks now. So you can make an account and you might get some AMC stocks with Webull. All right, so those are both kind of jumping up. Palantir, I'm expecting Palantir to be a bit shaky. If it goes up, it's kind of like, oh, that's cool, it goes up. If it goes down, I mean, depending on the level it goes down to, I might just end up buying more because I'm in pretty heavy on Palantir. Palantir, but we'll see what ends up happening with this one in the short term. I think it's going to be all over the place. You can't have a 15% up and down swing in one day like it did on Friday and expect the next day to be calm. So luckily with my cost basis, I'm still in the positive, at least a small amount right now, even after going down 3%. But we'll see. I know I've heard some people have predictions of it going into the 16s, which would be absolutely crazy. It would hurt in the short term, but I'd probably just need to buy more and average down if it went down to that, because like $16, that would be a perfect buy-in price. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see here. I know HT, I know you had said there's a stock to look at. HT, what stock were you saying was popping off? Do I show my positions that I'm invested in? I've mentioned some of my positions, but I've never done like a portfolio reveal. I'm kind of waiting to figure out the best way to do that. I think what I probably want to do is start a Discord channel for my members. So if there's, and I'll have all sorts of more, in-depth and more personal information there and kind of build a community around it. So if anyone listening right now is like an expert on Discord, I'm kind of a novice there, shoot me an email if you want to help me get everything started there. All right, let's look up this. So this is up 60%. What do they do? Healthcare services and equipment, healthcare equipment and supplies, medical equipment and supplies. They're engaged in developing, manufacturing, and marketing prosthetic devices that restore vision to blind individual. That is a cool ticker symbol for that. That's awesome. Now, was there some recent news or just a pre-market gainer? Oh, big FDA news that has, about to sneeze, that has second sight shares soaring. Okay. 55 million. Holy smokes. 55 million in volume in the first minute with this company. And it's not like it's a penny stock. You know, these are $10 a share. Wow. Wowee. That's my Christopher Walken. Wow. Now it's up almost 70%. Holy. Super League Gaming is down 12%. I've heard a lot of people talking about that relatively recently. I need to dig a little bit more into the esports stocks and ETFs because I think there's probably a good buy somewhere in there within the esports industry. You know, I'm going to pin eyes over here so we can keep an eye on it throughout the day. Ba-doomps. Now, why does it do that? I got too many pinned here. I got to remove some of these. Come on. I think if I go... Oh, it's on my positions. That's why. There we go. Eyes. I lost it. There we are. TLRY, you know what? TLRY's kind of been a bummer to me recently. Can I check out OGPN? Is there squeeze potential? Sure, I can check that out. OGPN. Let me write down this other one here. Let me grab my notebook. Let's see. NOAA, Esports Entertainment. Okay, I'll look up that one. GMBL. That's a good ticker symbol as well. Okay, so we're going to look up OGPN. Also have some news articles to cover here a little bit later. OGPN. Let's check this out. Why is there no market watch? OPGN? Is it OPGN or OGPN? Someone's saying Womply didn't work for your PPP application. Let me know what issue you had, and I'll help walk you through it. Oh, okay. OPGN. OpGen Incorporated. Shares outstanding. Okay, so they have very few shares outstanding. This is great for squeezability. So that's one check towards squeezability. Short interest is 654,000, which... Let's see, what's that as a percentage? $654 divided by 2016. So 30. Wait. I did the math wrong. I need another zero. 654,000 divided by 20 million. So the short interest is only 3.2%, so it's fairly low. Its float is fairly low shorted as far as a squeeze goes. Maybe if there was a bunch of option contracts, there'd be some kind of potential gamma squeeze or something like that. It's up 42% right now. Holy smokes. Even, what's its market cap? $39 million. So we're still looking at a very small market cap, even after going up 45%. Let's see. Sales relatively flat over the last 5 years. How about quarterly? Quarterly a little bit better, but kind of choppy. Not horrible, though. Do we have any income? No net income, but it looks like it's trending in the right direction. As far as squeezability goes, it's hard to say with such low short interest or short percentage of float, whatever you want to call it. With a 45% gain in one day, it kind of can go one of two ways, and you might as well flip a coin to decide. This thing could either, we could see this turn into a socket mobile and jump up to 700%, or people could just start taking their gains and we see this thing, drop down to plus 15% for the day, which is still good if you were hopped in already, but not so great if you hop in right now. Let's hop back over and oh, eyes halted. Oh yeah, suspension. Up 81%. Oh, because we just had a crazy buy period, it looks like. No, it's only 2 million in volume though. I mean, 55 million in volume. This is probably going to be one of the top 5 traded stocks of the day today. Now, let's check out the market cap. Of this wild company. $243 million market cap. Is this going to be the hot ticket item of the day? Congrats to anyone who who hopped into this one earlier. Revenue per employee very low at 30,000. But I'm not sure many people are hopping into this because they like it as a company. However, it seems like they did have some good news recently. 5-year sales trend not looking good. It's decreasing at a very rapid pace. How about quarterly? Okay, so my guess is they just shut down in 2020 due to COVID. They shut down operations similar to a Senseonics. Also, people have been asking if I'm saying that wrong, Senseonics, and it is Senseonics. If you listen to any of their corporate presentation, I know it doesn't, I didn't think it'd be, I thought it was just Sensonics because that sounds much better, but that's how they say it. So whatever. I wonder if they just came out with their fourth, or when their next earnings call is for fourth quarter. Maybe they started sales again, and that could help push this price up a little higher. Someone in the chat here, I bought eyes on Friday and forgot to get out before the end of the day. Lucked out. Wow. Congratulations on that. Okay, now Palantir has swung upwards a little bit to 1% up. For those of you who are, because now I'm getting a bunch of Palantir viewers because I've been heavy in on Palantir. For those of you who are curious, because I've been getting a lot of messages about my Palantir portfolio, let's just see how much we're up right now. Now this, I will say, I have some unrealized gains right now, but I have to tell myself, let me just give you the psychology of this investment. Even though I'm up right now, I have to tell myself these gains don't matter because I could be down this equivalent amount tomorrow And I have to tell myself, no matter if there's short-term swings up or down, it doesn't matter because I'm aiming for long-term. Now, one caveat here. If I saw Palantir swing up massively, like I guess I need to figure out the exact price, but my future price target for Palantir is around like $120 within 4 to 5 years. If it were to hit, let's say, hit $100 in a year without the justification of a heavy increase in revenue and maybe even a break-even point, then I may consider selling out if it hits a price target much sooner than I expect. But that's the kind of thing where I would have to do a lot of consideration beforehand. So there's not like one set price that I would just sell at. So just something to consider there. Now with my Palantir investment, I'm up 9% right now, up $3,200. Total value currently is $39,135. So not too bad for a day. One full trading day up 35,000? I'm losing my mind right now. 32,000 in a trading day. Not too shabby. Good morning. Okay, this thing is stepping up in a big way. I won't forget gamble. And I'm going to take a quick look at it in a little bit here, and then I'm going to dive more into different various esports companies in the future. Let's see here. Would I continue to pick up shares of Palantir while it's still under $30? That's a good question. So Friday we had some real good news where they had a partnership with Amazon. Let me just pull that up here. They announced this after market close on Friday. So I was like, oh, good timing with my share purchases. As I purchased it, well, it was down 15% on Friday, and then it swung up 10% or something from when I bought it. Or no, sorry, not 10%, probably 7% since I bought it, because right now I'm up 9%. So Palantir Technologies announced Friday its new enterprise resource planning system with Amazon Incorporated, with their AWS web services. So Palantir's ERP suite is optimized to run on AWS to assist customers with data integration and analysis. The suite has already been adopted by a number of enterprises, including BP and Lanxess. I actually haven't heard of Lanxess to enable significant cost savings within weeks. The ERP suite uses a Palantir Foundry data connector developed for ERP applications to improve data discovery, accelerate time to value of ERP data, democratize workflow creation, and drive faster business outcomes. So to me, this is a massive good sign. The fact that one of the biggest, smartest tech companies in the world, Amazon, especially Amazon Web Services, which if you aren't aware, makes almost all their profit, or a large majority of their profit comes from Amazon Web Services. That ultra tech savvy smart company is hiring Palantir because Palantir does it better. So you have to think of this in terms of Palantir has a heavy focus on kind of dumb businesses who aren't the Amazons, who aren't ultra tech savvy, because if you own a manufacturing plant who creates, I don't know, let's just say industrial chemicals or something like that, the CEO of that isn't going to be an expert at creating technical systems. You know, they maybe have to hire a CTO who is, but it's not an easy integration. Palantir comes in and they're like, we are the experts at this. We'll build that system. We'll turn this into basically this AI smart system. But the fact that even Amazon thinks it's worth hiring Palantir instead of just building this out in-house is a massively good sign, in my opinion. Now, I will say, I've been talking a lot of good things about Palantir. Still, do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor, and I still think it's going to be a very choppy short run. Like, we can see some wild downward swings still potentially. So, if you're willing to weather that, that's something to consider. So it says Palantir has been working with Amazon Web Services for over the past year on a number of different projects and believes companies that adopts its new ERP suite will be quick to see results. Within 2 weeks of installing the ERP suite, BP was able to unlock approximately $50 million in working capital and has the potential to unlock further savings if applied across their worldwide supply chain. So that's another thing to consider. Like if someone came to me, to my business, and said, okay, we offer this piece of software that will reliably save you $100,000 per year, and we can prove it and we can back that up with results. Would you be willing to pay $30,000 for that piece of software? Yes, it's an obvious yes. And once you try it and it works out, I'd be willing to double down on it. I mean, you think of it in terms of business owner's perspective. It's so simple. Popping back over here. Holy, oh my gosh. Eyes up 130%. Wow. Who in here has hopped on the eyes train? That is absolutely nuts. So don't be surprised if there's some kind of at least correction here on this run up. I mean, we could see this thing run up further. Like I said, with Sock and Mobile, that went up 900% at one point. Eyes could run up further. A lot of times, you know, there's corrections along the way up, even if it does have crazy run ups. 136% right now. Jeez. I guarantee everyone who's streaming on YouTube right now has at least mentioned this, and it's, you know, it's just this is gonna be the hype train company of the day, I bet. Yeah, a lot of people here in the chat saying don't chase it. Yeah, that's probably good advice, because, you know, there's going to, even if it runs up, there's going to at least be a correction. So we'll keep an eye on it just for entertainment purposes, but you know, be careful with these kinds of things. Thank you. I appreciate when people in the chat are realistic. You know, when I give it realistic advice and say, hey, maybe don't hop into this. This might not be the best investment. That's when people get mad at me, because there's certain people who are in that investment, and, you know, I'm going against their money, and I don't like doing that. But I feel like it's my job to give this realistic picture, and unfortunately, that's just the downside of it sometimes. TLRY just disappointing me again. At this point, I'm just in on TLRY for the long term, for I guess profitability. I got like $2,000 in TLRY. That, well, now it's $1,000. Tyson Foods, though, congratulations to anyone who listened to me on Tyson Foods in the last, I guess, four or so months, because you are up in a big way on a very stable investment. This thing is actually kind of moving ahead of schedule. I would have predicted it to be like $69 to $70 right now. So we're significantly above that. My only regret with Tyson was not buying more. Should have just bought more. I still think it's not a bad entry price where we're at right now. You're just not getting the, you know, right now you might be looking at, like, you know, you go to a store, there's a t-shirt with a cat on it that you like, and yesterday there was a 40% off sticker on it. Now there might be a 20% off sticker on it. They realize there's a little bit more demand for it. That's kind of where it's sitting at right now. Now, we have seen it have a run up. If we compare this to a lot of like meme stocks and stuff, we could definitely say like, oh, this thing's just gonna have a major correction. With this, we might not actually see it have a big correction because it's undervalued, and still somewhat undervalued. So we might not see this thing jump down, but we probably will see the gains flatten a little bit at least. So something to consider there. Let's just zoom this out a bit. I wish I bought when it was at $42, but this is when I was starting to talk about this, was in November. High 50s to low $60 a share. And here we are. Look at us now, almost $74 a share. And that's why it's important to have a fundamental background on your investments as well. You know, technical stuff is fun, and the day-to-day stuff is exciting for sure. But you still want your portfolio to be rooted in these sound long-term investments as well. HT, did you end up buying any Tyson stock? Let me know. Let's see here. Someone's saying, I want Tyson, but should I wait? Let me see what their P to E is with the new price, and I can give you just a better idea. Let's see here. Now, with Tyson Foods, if you're willing to hold, like if you're hopping into this for a long-term investment, like this is one that I'm just going to leave in there because I don't see this company jumping up a huge percentage to merit like a sell-off where I'm like, it's too overvalued now, I should just sell it off. This is kind of like, I plan on just leaving that in my account for, I don't even know, 10 years, 20 years, as long as the company is still producing cash. It's a good, solid dividend paying company. So if you're in that mindset, it doesn't really matter if you buy in now or if you buy in $2 less than right now. And if you want more information on it, in the description of this, I have my entire analysis as to why my thoughts are so positive on Tyson. Okay, so right now the price to earnings for Tyson is still 12.6. When I first did my analysis, it was probably like 9. So, it's still looking pretty good. Under 15 is definitely in the value investment range. So I don't think it's a bad price right now. If this was up around probably $77, I would say it's on, it's still a good stable buy, but it's not like a spanking deal anymore. But it's still solid as of right now. So Jay Anderson, can you send me an email with what's going on about your Womply application, and I will personally forward that to the head of their tech support, and he will help you out. So send me an email, and I'll make sure you get addressed. Oh, you got 50 shares? Let's go. 2 weeks ago, that was good timing too. You're welcome, Crystal. I'm happy to help with all things stimulus check. Let's see here. Doug says I should do my due diligence first and study instead of just FOMOing. Yeah, every single time I learn my lesson, every single time I hop into an investment without doing heavy research. I cannot think of a single time where I've done heavy research, hopped into a stock, and it didn't go up. And I swear, every time I just hop into a stock because I'm like, oh, that seems cool, TLRY seems cool, I lose 40%. So diligence is so important. That's why whenever I release a video on diligence, I'm like, I need this to be the most in-depth video there is on YouTube about this company because I need to have a full understanding if I'm going to put my hard-earned money into this thing, especially because the way that I think of investing, I just assume most companies aren't worth the investment. I assume that I'm looking for that 1 out of 500 company to put my investment in because I want to have the best. I would rather put a bunch of money into one really good company that has the best odds, in my opinion, for that type of investing. I still have a bunch of index funds and stuff too that I like to base my portfolio in. I maxed out my Roth IRA and things like that with very reliable S&P 500 kind of stuff. Someone's saying that WhatsApp number you sent, is that your personal? I did not send a WhatsApp number. There are tons of imposters posing as me. I don't even have WhatsApp, so it's definitely not me. Jay Anderson, can you send me another email just straight to maxmahershow@gmail.com and I'll forward it? Because I can't forward any course messages. Did I do DD before my AMC buying? Not as much as I should. I did in that I probably spent where my normal due diligence period is like a six solid hours of just sitting, intensely focusing, no phone, anything like that. With AMC, it was a little bit different because there was so much hype around it, and I knew it wouldn't be quite as rooted in the background knowledge of the company. So with that, I probably spent an hour and a half just understanding like the management team, the CEO, their debt, things like that. But to be honest, I should have spent more time on it. I'm right now pretty close to breaking even, but there was also the part with AMC where I just kind of wanted to be part of it, and I think a lot of people were in that boat too. So I was willing to. There's certain things where I'm like, I just want to be part of that. I'll throw some money at that, but that's real small. Like, I was okay with going down on AMC. Of course, I'd rather it explode into the stratosphere. Bitcoin broke $50,000 again. I really wonder what's going to happen with Bitcoin, if there's going to be a short-term correction or not, because I would like to buy a chunk. As of right now, I'm just going to buy like $1,000 a month or something like that and just slowly start averaging it. What's the best place to learn how to invest in the market? YouTube is a good place. You have to be somewhat careful about who you are following and who you're getting information from, because it's very easy to just put out a video because you're like, oh, this news article says this company is good, let me put out a video on it. So it's very easy to do that. So be careful with that. But read books. There are tons of good books on just beginners for investments. If you look into the description of this, there's a link that's like my camera and equipment. If you click that, there's a books tab. That's my favorite books. That's worth checking out. There's a bunch of investment books in there, but a few that I like. There's a book called Little Book on Valuations. That's good on how to value a company. It's only like 150 pages, gives you a lot of information on how to value a company. I'm a big fan of Poor Charlie's Almanac, which is by Charlie Munger, the number 2 guy at Berkshire Hathaway. He's an absolute genius. The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. Now, those are all kind of more value investment kind of books, but just like understanding the fundamentals of a business, which are definitely helpful, but you can't teach quite as well how to value a growth investment, because with a growth investment, you're looking at a lot of other things like, what's the management like? What feeling do you get from the management? It's kind of like, how do you teach the gut feeling there? Besides just their background expertise, what's the growth rate? What level of value do you want to put on the growth rate? What's the industry analysis? There's a lot of kind of less concrete factors to go into a growth investment, and that's why they're so much harder to value, a growth company. You can tell when a growth company is extremely overvalued, but it's hard when it's in that mid-range of, is this slightly overvalued? Is it slightly undervalued? Usually is not slightly undervalued, but especially right now. But it's hard when it's within a good range. It's pretty easy to spot when it's in like a crazy range, which in my opinion, like Sundial Growers was in that crazy range, at least for a while. I haven't looked at them in a little while. I suppose I should do a price target there, but it seems like Sundial Growers doesn't have quite the hype around it like it did a while back. The growth of your channel has been faster than the Tyson Foods stock. I'll take that. I'm happy with that. Yeah, we might hit 200,000 subscribers here somewhat soon. We just passed 185,000 subscribers. I think that was just like late last night. So thank you to everyone who subscribes. I appreciate each and every one of you. Also, make sure you like this stream so we can push this thing out. Let's see here. My email is maxmahershow@gmail.com. Would I ever franchise my moving company? So it actually well, it's actually no longer part of a franchise. It's a license at this point. But yeah, there's locations available. We're constantly expanding. So yeah, people can license it out if they want. It's not technically a franchise anymore. So that's actually even better for anyone who likes the branding in their systems and stuff like that, because now it's cheaper than it was before. But this actually is a franchise. So Palantir flat today. You know, I would love to just see Palantir stay more stable for a few months. Like, I don't need a huge, wild 15% upward swing. I definitely don't want to see a 15% downward swing, but I'd probably just buy more if it did. I would like to see it just become stable and just a more, you know, so people can see it more as a long-term investment like I do. Oh, TLRY up 1%. Gosh, TLRY, let me tell you. AMC, though, up 5%, so it's not too shabby there. No, nice little stepping up pattern. How is this I stock doing? Okay, so we saw a little bit of a correction. We called that. We absolutely called that we saw this correction. I'm glad whoever was listening and thinking about buying in when it was up here, you listened and you're like, okay, these guys are all saying don't buy it. It's going to crash down a little bit, and then it did. And now it's on its way up again. Be careful of the FOMO. Yeah, I have a moving and storage company. You can't tell because it looks like I'm in like my bedroom or something like that, but this is actually an office within my warehouse. So yeah, I'm in my my moving company warehouse right now. OPGN taken off. Let's see. What's your position in OPGN, John? We'll add it to the watch list. I have way too many pinned here on the watch list. Where? I always lose them whenever there we go. I think up 55%. There you go. Congrats to those who hopped into OPGN before today, especially. We need the soundtrack. Unfortunately, YouTube absolutely screwed me with my music. Was that last week? I don't know. Sometime within the last like 4 or 5 streams. I'm still dealing with now 62 copyright claims, even though I had rights to the music. So huge hassle. Get off work or get off the computer and get to work. Luckily, my moving company is completely delegated out. That's why I can spend so much time putting together these YouTube videos every single day, and like, you know, literally spending 12 plus hours a day researching and putting together these videos. So I'm actually thinking about, let me know if you guys are interested in this. I'm thinking about doing a breakdown for like the last month to show my passive income with the moving company. I guess it's not 100% passive because I still spend a little bit of time on there, but you know, people call everything passive income now. But I think that's kind of like a unique perspective because most people, first off, don't have a business, and then second off, don't have one that can just run without them. All right, GameStop kind of consolidating a little bit here around this $153 price range, which is still a win, to be honest. Big win. Palantir's going up. Yeah, I mean, it's doing okay. You mean when you're a competent manager, you actually get to enjoy your time and run a business? Yeah, turns out if you build some systems and processes for your business, people can follow those, you hire some good people, you can actually step back and take a look at the big picture and grow things from there, or spend time on other things like silly little YouTube videos. Would I buy into eyes at any price point? The thing about these is you look at them and you're like, man, I wish I jumped up 100% in a single day. But usually when you see that, it's already too late. There are exceptions to that where, it could jump up 500-600%. I think it's better. You'd be better off in the long run if you just didn't jump into all of these. Every single time we see a stock jump up 100%, you'd be better off if you didn't jump in on every single one. Now, there are going to be certain ones that jump even higher, and you're going to think, oh, I could have jumped in at a plus 100, and now it's at plus 600. So I would say any amount that you'd spend on eyes, I would probably be willing to throw $100 into this just to be part of the ride, but not have any care really whether that goes down 30% or up 400%. I would not put anything that's even remotely significant to you in one of these companies after 100% jump in one day, because as we're seeing right now, it was just up, I don't even remember the exact amount, up like 150 or 60 or 70%, and now we're up 98%. So there was a guarantee. Let's see what the volume is. The volume was 3.3 million at its peak here, this peak minute, and we can probably assume 50% at least of those were buys. Those people are now down from almost $15 to $11.70. There's a lot of people who bought in, excited, and are now hurting exactly because of that. And we literally just had a suspension on the downward. So you don't want to be that person. You first and foremost, don't lose money. How can I learn about your business processes? Do I have videos? So a lot of my older videos are very heavy on my management theories, my operations, my moving company, things like that. I just don't do as many of them anymore because most people, unfortunately, don't really care about, here's 5 tips to be a better management or a better manager. Unfortunately, that's just not what most people want to see. But I do have some videos on it that I think are, some of my best videos are my oldest ones, in my opinion. Because when I very first started, I have a video that took me literally 7.5 weeks of work for one video. There were some huge projects like that. Let's see here. Have I looked at QFIN? QFIN? No, I haven't, but we can take a quick look at it. Oh yeah, we also still need to go through these news articles. QFIN stock. Let's see here. No, I am not familiar. 360 DigiTech. Let's see. $105 million, $3.2 billion market cap. $700,000 in revenue per employee. That's pretty good. I like to see that. What do they do? Engages in the provision of digital consumer finance platform. That's worded weird. It provides tailored online customer finance products to prime underserved borrowers. Okay, that's P/E of 9. Okay, we might be looking at a fairly low valued company here. A solid step up in revenue. This one's looking pretty good. Solid increase in net income. Let's see the quarterly. Come on, click. 5-quarter trend also looks very solid. What kind of debt do they have? Oh yeah, we gotta look at the balance sheet. Total debt, total liabilities, 1.98 billion or 89 billion. Losing my mind. How many years would it take to pay off that? 1.89 billion divided by net income of 361 million. So it would take 5.2 years to pay off the debt. So the debt is a little bit on the high end, but not anything to be worried about. I mean, this actually could be a very solid investment. I'm always slightly concerned with any company that's outside of the US. I prefer to invest inside the US. However, I think that's just going to change more and more over time. But actually, this looks like a very solid opportunity. I'm going to have to dig into this one a little bit more because it seems like a solid value opportunity, especially with a PDE of 9, increasing 3-year sales, increasing 5-quarter sales. What's their... I don't see any SGA expense, but yeah, I'm going to look into this one a little bit more because this seems like potentially a good value play. It's actually odd that it's not priced higher, especially in the market that we're in right now, where so many things are so expensive. Let's see if there's some news we can find. Not seeing a ton as far as recent news. Let's see if 360 DigiTech. Search on Google. Where's their website? Investor relations. Okay. Oh, this is quite the website. All right, Q3 presentation. Let's check this out. This obviously will, if I were to actually do an investment in this, I would read through this entire thing and earnings calls and things like that. But we're just doing a real quick look. So here's the management team, 20 plus years of managerial and operational experience in China's internet industry. You can see some of the companies that they work for. McKinsey is a huge company. Bank of America. Let's see. Their revenue, market leader. Okay, so they're market leader. That's another thing I look for in a value play is, does this company have a competitive advantage? There are a few ways we can look into that, like a company who has much better gross income as a percentage compared to all of its competitors typically has a competitive advantage. A company that's cash is stockpiling typically has a competitive advantage. Now, if it's cash is stockpiling, it also might mean that it's either selling off assets or selling off businesses, which you'd be able to see in the annual report. So you'd want to look at that as well. Typically, a company with a competitive advantage has little to no interest that they pay. And this is a startup, so that might change a little bit. But yeah, overall, I like this one from face value. So I'm going to look into this a little bit more. I've never heard of this company before. But I like it so far. Thank you for that recommendation. I should live stream readings of the Poor Charlie's Almanac. That is an interesting thought. I might have to do something like that on like a second channel or something. But I honestly wouldn't mind rereading it. It's such a good book. That's worth rereading. That would take a long time to read out loud. That'd be like 15 hours or something like that. What do I have to do to clear those copyright strikes? So I have to dispute each one individually, and then to dispute it, it's like 15 clicks. You dispute it, you have to give your code, like your license code, and you have to send it to, I was using Epidemic Music. It's a whole process, and I have to do it 62 times, and I'm like, the ad revenue on a live stream is so low, it's probably not worth the 3 hours of time that it's going to take to dispute all those. So thank you, John. I appreciate that. Yeah, like Steve said, there's always a concern, in buying China stocks out of the U.S. stocks. Regulations aren't quite the same, but there are examples where there are some good buys there. I mean, you can see like Warren Buffett, he's made some investments in China and Brazil and other countries, but you have to just like do that extra level of diligence, I think, out of the U.S. Let's have a little coffee break. Where can I find out how to calculate a company's value/stock value? So that's one of the hardest questions in all stock investing. What is the true value of this company I'm looking at here? Now, there are tons of different ways to do that. There's tons of different models. There's a book that's called The Little Book of Valuation that I think is really helpful and gives you kind of the fundamentals, the things to look for as far as valuation. But I mean, it literally could be something as simple as, here's the earnings, here's the multiple of earnings that I think this company merits based on whatever criteria you think of, to full-scale models that take into industry growth, turnover ratios. You can make it as complicated as you want to make it. Read The Art of War. I have read it. It's pretty good. You're welcome. Will I be streaming later this week? Yeah, probably. I do think that my expertise is sitting down and grinding out a video as opposed to live streaming, because I'm not the most high energy all the time. So I probably should focus on what I'm a little bit better at, but I do like live streaming because the back and forth interaction, I think, is awesome. The War of Art is good and The Art of War is good. They're both good. OPGN plus 66%. How's good old eyes doing here? 113%, so it's rallied a little bit from those lows. Palantir up 1%. All right, let's see here. Have I read The New Great Depression? No, I haven't. Can I tell you more about my purchase of Palantir? Yeah, I can give you a little overview. If you want a complete analysis, linked in the description is my complete analysis that has all the exact facts and statistics around my my thought process here. But first off, company is growing at a good pace. Let me just pull up their financials here. They grew 46% last year, or no, 47% last year. They have a market cap of $47.95 billion, which went up in the last few days here. Something that I saw a lot of people question was my price to sales ratio, because a solid part of my analysis is based on price to sales. For some reason, the price to sales here on MarketWatch, they have updated it, thankfully. For a while, this was at like 20, and it was really frustrating because all sorts of people were like, MarketWatch says this is $20, and I'm like, or 20 for the price to sales ratio, and it was wrong. It just wasn't updated yet. So that's something to watch out for when you're looking at these. It's important to understand what goes into these ratios, because when I was looking through this and I saw this said 20 for Palantir, I was like, that seems oddly low. And then I calculated myself, which is really easy for price to sales, market cap divided by sales, and it was like 42, which I think it's higher than 38. That still isn't accurate. It's like 40 point something right now. So the price to sales is 40, which admittedly is on the high end for a value investment. You could call it on the low end for a growth investment. I mean, I hesitate to say that because it's still very high, but it's not as high as some other companies. Like Shopify, I think, is like a 98 price to sales, which is crazy. A price to earnings of 98 is crazy. I mean, to be honest, a price to earnings of 38 is crazy too. But I see a huge future with this. I'm a big fan of the management. Peter Thiel there's like 5 co-founders. Peter Thiel is the main head honcho who kind of funded the business right away. He's a co-founder of PayPal. Like in doing my research for Palantir, I was searching Peter Thiel failures, and I couldn't find any of his failures. Like this guy he just hits, boom, boom, hit after hit. All of their management team is very impressive. Alex Karp, very impressive. And the way they got their technology for Palantir is in the PayPal days, a lot of the Palantir people are old PayPal people. And PayPal was like hailed back in the day as like this meeting of the great entrepreneurial minds. Like they call it the PayPal mafia. The people who started PayPal like went off to start tons of other amazing companies like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, the founders of YouTube, like some crazy founders. So in PayPal, they had this issue where they were losing like $10 million a month in fraud. And they created this system that combines automated flagging of suspicious accounts and suspicious data they combined that automated like machine learning flagging with human reviewers, and they like created this machine human mesh that was much better than either of them separate. And then they were kind of like, hey, so we're saving $10 million a month with this system we built. I bet we could make this into a business. And that's what Palantir started as. And now it's kind of spun into multiple products where they help make businesses smart. They help with fraud at like JP Morgan Chase. They help the US government and the CIA identify terror attacks and things like that. They're just very good at sifting data. So it's hard to compare them to any other company because there's not really like a direct competitor, which makes the analysis a little bit harder. Like you can compare them to tech companies, but it's like, is it a tech company because it's half tech, half consulting? Is it a consulting company, but it's very tech heavy? It's very hard to compare this to any other company, but they are very impressive in my opinion. I went into my analysis of this with no intention of investing. That's how I go into every single analysis, like just try to be as unbiased as possible. I go in and just try to gather all the facts and then make a decision and then make a price target and decide, okay, does my investment merit what the price target is? So we can see the sales trend increasing dramatically. It increased 47%, either in the last year, 47% from 2019 to 2020. Quarterly sales trend, same thing, increasing dramatically. That was during the pandemic when businesses were hit hard, and businesses are their biggest consumers. So remember that as well. They have a future sales target of 30% increase per year annually, at least until 2025. They're trying to have annual sales of $4 billion in 2025, which I actually think is on the conservative end. I think the 30% increase is also conservative, at least for the next year, which I like. I like that the management isn't like, we expect to double growth every single year for 5 years, because then I'd be like, that doesn't seem legitimate. I also like that the management says they're willing to forego short-term gains for long-term value. They recognize that short-term gains is kind of like, that's like the downfall of many startup public companies. I say startup, but this company's actually been around since 2003, which also is kind of a good sign that they've been around for almost 18 years. They're probably not going to go away anytime soon. Like, I think they're here to stay. So there are concerns with this company as well. its debt is increasing. It has a lot of debt to pay off, over $1 billion in debt. Let me just pull up their balance sheet. And with their aggressive growth, they have very high increases in their spend. Total liabilities, it went down from 2019, but we're still looking at $1.17 billion, a very significant amount of liabilities, especially with a company that has no earnings. So that's a concern. There's concerns with just data in general. Do you want to be on the side of big data? That's a question to ask yourself. There's concerns with how heavily they rely on the U.S. government, because with the U.S. government, it's so fickle. The Biden administration could also decide, we're done with data tracking, goodbye Palantir, and then there goes 50% of their revenue. So that's a concern. It's always a concern whenever you have one source of revenue for a large, one source for a large portion of your revenue. Like for instance, when I look at small businesses to buy, I'm constantly looking at small businesses to buy. I make sure there are no 3 customers that make up 66% of the revenue and no 1 customer that makes up 33% of the revenue. If either of those criteria hit, I'm not interested in the business anymore, just too risky. Now, it's less risky with a public company than me going in and buying a business because I'm a new owner and that's a chance for, my customers to shop around. It's a little bit different, but it's something to look for. Another concern with this company is some of its customers don't like their user agreements and how opaque they are, how they don't know they don't know exactly what the company is doing with their data all the time, it seems, is kind of the overall idea I get. Now, I don't know if that's because just what they do is so complicated or they're just trying to hide their IP. I don't know exactly. I'm just trying to highlight all the concerns. That way you can make an educated decision. And you should absolutely look at all this yourself as well. But based on all these estimations, I think if they hit their conservative estimate of 30% increase in revenue in the next year, that merits a share price of at least $33 a share with current price to sale ratios of 40. If they're able to hit that $4 billion mark in 5 years, I think that merits at least about $114 per share mark with that same price to sales. Now, if they do hit that 5-year sales goal, their price to sales is probably going to be much higher than 40, and we could see share prices of like $200 or more, because there's going to probably you can bet if they're able to increase sales that much for the next 5 years, there's going to be a lot of excitement around this company 5 years from now, and there's going to be a lot of people wishing they hopped in. Right now, that is. As far as a good buy-in price, kind of lower the better. I would think a perfect buy-in, now I'm more on the value investor side, a perfect buy-in honestly would be like $14, but I don't think that's going to happen. Some people have said this thing's going to go down to $16. I mean, anyone can say anything. You can say it could go down to $8 too. If it went down to $16, it would hurt temporarily, but I would remember I'm in this for the very long term. I'm in this for at least 5 years, unless we see a insane spike in price where I might say, okay, this is just way too crazily priced. I'll sell and then maybe buy back again later once it settles down. But I don't think we're at an awful price, but I do think we'll probably see some short-term swings. Like I don't think we can say this will never go below $24 again. It probably will go down to 22 at least again at some point before we see some steady growth, if I just were to guess. So that's my general thoughts on Palantir. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Let's see here. Philip, you're saying you can do some merch designs for me? Shoot me an email. I'd be happy to check that out. We need to do some more merch, some Caveman Capital merch, give me some idea. If you have any ideas for merch, email me that as well, maxmahershow@gmail.com. What's going on, Neandra Nuts? Where do you find out who Palantir's customers are? So you can go into their investor presentation. That gives you a lot. Also, their news and press release has tons of different new partnerships that they have. They have partnerships with like BP, this big mining company that I can't remember the name right now. They just got a partnership with Amazon. Well, I guess now that we're talking about Palantir, let's cover some more information here about Palantir. Worth trading options with Palantir, priced by 2022. I mean, that's up to you on the options end. I don't have any options on Palantir right now. 2022, if they hit their 30% growth, let me do some calculations here real quick. Just based on their estimates, which I think are actually somewhat conservative. They did 1.09 billion in sales last year. We add 30% to that. Oops, 0.09 times 1.3. So that would mean 1.417 billion. Suppose I can put this on the screen. So this would be 1.417 billion if they increase sales for 2021, and then another year of 30% growth. So we can multiply that by 1.3. So that'd be 1.84 billion. This is real quick, notebook math, but price to sales of 40, that'd be a market cap of 73 billion, and they have a total share, I think they have 1.75 billion shares. Yeah, 1.75 billion shares divided by 1.75. So that'd be a conservative price of $42 2 years from now, which I know we've already been there, but this is there could be wild swings in between that too. Like there could be a swing to $70 in between that, but I think with sales of whatever that was, $1.7 billion in 2 years, this price is justified. There's a big difference between a justified price and whatever the price is that it's sitting at right now. Let's see here. Where do you find out how many clients they have? So you're gonna want to look at their investor presentation, their annual report. You can listen to their earnings calls. They'll probably talk about it there. Usually in investor reports, there's like a risk analysis, and that would definitely be one of the risks that they rely heavily on the U.S. government. I know in their most recent investor presentation, it talks about how much revenue they derive from the U.S. government, the various agencies they work for, every one of those 3-letter agencies that they work for. And their proportion of revenue from the U.S. government is actually decreasing while their corporate customers are increasing. So you can tell that's something that they're focusing on. What do I think of the new Buzz ETF? I'm not familiar with Buzz ETF, but I do like ETFs in general. I think like if you don't have a ton of industry knowledge, or you don't want to spend the time and to find the best 1 or 2 companies in an industry, boom, ETF. I think I'll probably buy some, I can't remember the name of the ETF, but there's a good esports ETF that I was thinking about buying into. Oh yeah, we were going to look at this news here. Kathy Woods, Palantir buy, what Kramer doesn't understand. This is annoying. Okay, there we go. Kathy Woods said that ARK bought a combined 2.65 million shares of Palantir. Woods' purchases included about 2 million shares of her flagship ETF, ARK Innovation, and about 650,000 shares in her ARK Next Generation Internet ETF. Looking at the closing price of Palantir on Wednesday, ARK's purchases are valued at around $62.5 million, and this comes after she disclosed last month that the exchange-traded funds bought more than 6 million shares of the company for ARK Innovation and ARK Next Generation Internet. Okay, so I hate titles like that, what Kramer doesn't understand, and it just says she bought shares. Cool, thank you. Thank you so much. We already read this. Amazon and Palantir have a partnership now. I guess that's all we have for Palantir. Oh, yeah. His opinion. Okay, yeah, he gave his opinion on Palantir. I thought he said he wanted to... Oh, I guess now he's saying he's not a buyer of Palantir Technologies because it's become a battleground. I'm pretty sure like last week he said it was a good buy at one point. Here we have some AMC news. AMC Entertainment CEO Adam Aron touts New York City reopening, reflects on near bankruptcy, hails Reddit investors. Updated with AMC proxy figures. Let's see here. CEO Adam Aron hailed the reopening of New York City and shared his thoughts on the Reddit rally. Speaking with CNBC on Friday, he said advanced ticket sales in New York took up 7 of the top 20 spots in the number 1 exhibitor's portfolio of 500 plus locations. Okay, that's New York City. Asked about his experience of seeing AMC stocks surge due to Reddit-based trading along with stocks like GameStop, Aron declined to comment in detail on the motivations of retail traders. He said the incredible irony of all this is that 8 months of frantic fundraising was 99% complete before the Reddit upswing, which helped AMC slash its debt by $600 million. AMC raised $2.2 billion in cash, another $1.5 billion in concessions from lenders and landlords between April 2020 and January 2021. The Reddit wave brought significant changes to AMC's ownership. Silver Lake Capital sold its entire stake in the company at a profit of $113 million. China's Wanda Group had its position diluted after approving the issuance of new shares in AMC as a pandemic survival measure. Wanda's stake is about 44 million shares, which is worth about 50% of the company 6 months ago. Aron said, but only about 10% today. So there were some big institutional sell-offs, but also some institutional buys through like BlackRock and things like that. Contrary to perceptions that the conglomerate had taken a major step back from AMC, Aron said Wanda has only sold about 2 million shares in the past 2 years. Aron's comments came out after AMC Entertainment said late last month that it was awarding Aron and other executives supplemental special incentive cash bonuses to recognize the challenge they faced steering the embattled company on a financial roller coaster over the past pandemic year. Aron will receive $3.75 million as part of the payouts. Wow, that must be rough. Your company does basically $0 in sales and a lot of negative income, and you get a $3.75 billion or $1 million bonus. That's nice. Pull it back over here for a minute. Let's see here. GME looks like it's having a hard time getting past this $160 mark. But the swing looks good. We got some George W's there. What's the volume looking like? Volume is actually pretty low right now. It's actually relatively boring on the volume side. Volume for AMC is kind of low too. The low 200,000s per minute. GameStop. Palantir up 1.67%. Tyson Foods almost up 1%. They've just been hopping up every day, like 1.5%. Kind of crazy to see. Second Sight Medical back to 109%. Congrats, HT here in the chat if you ended up selling at 12. Good thinking. Sorry about that. I think I'm back online now. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. My internet phased out for a second. Okay, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, someone said that they couldn't find my stream when they search for streams and they don't get notifications from these streams. I honestly think YouTube is kind of kind of I don't even know what it's called, blackballing me or whatever, and not showing my streams to people anymore because of my copyright claims. You know, what do you do? That's what we're working with. I'm just going to search on an incognito tab, livestock stream, and see if I even pop up. Let's see. Yeah, no, I don't. Who knows? I'm not in YouTube's favor right now. That's how it goes. So if you enjoy this, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications, because YouTube's not going to notify you. Let's see if I search my name, if it even shows. Okay, so yeah, if you search my name, it shows that I'm live. So there's one way to find it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how these things work. I don't let it stress me out too much. Yeah, YouTube does love Uncle Bruce, that's for sure. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, the people in here, you're the ones who get the notifications because because you're here. But they're all the time. I see comments on my videos that are just like, "You go live? I've never gotten a notification." Or I went on your profile and you have live streams? What the heck? But it's no big deal. I'm doing just fine. Oh, GameStop, looks like we might be breaking those. Oh, that's really fighting. It's fighting to get above that. Bitcoin now at $51,000. Just broke 51,000. See, that's weird. HT says he has to constantly check. He doesn't get notifications. And you're a member. You would think like a members, you would automatically. Oh yeah, there was something I wanted to talk about. If you were in here like last week when we were streaming, I was talking about KuCoin and asking questions about it, really, because I'm just trying to become familiar with it. Someone emailed me talking about their experience with KuCoin. Basically with KuCoin, like right now, there's all sorts of ways to do like crypto lending. I actually have one linked in the description that's like a super reputable crypto lender that gives you like 8% interest. They lend to like institutions. They do everything by the book. It's like super straightforward, insured, things like that. There's another company called KuCoin, which I've heard their security is good and things like that. But they allow you to earn upwards of like 70% interest on certain cryptocurrencies like stable coins if you lend it out for periods like 7 days, 14 days, 28 days. So I asked in the stream, has anyone done this? Because of course it seems too good to be true. Someone emailed me, and I haven't read this yet, so I'll read off their email. I can't pull it on the screen, otherwise I'll be giving away their email address, so I'll just read it. This person says, I've made out great with it. So this is how it works. The lender, which is another customer, puts up their crypto or stablecoin, Tether, USDC, etc., for borrowing in a allotted amount of days, 7 days, 14 days, 28 days. There's an interest rate that I believe is set by the lender so that they don't want to go below. Me as a borrower, I can choose what parameters of the funds or crypto I like to borrow are. So for me personally, I usually pick any of the 28-day loans, so I'm not stressed about getting the funds back to the exchange in such a short amount of time. Oh yeah, keep in mind that algorithms have complete control over all funds / crypto and transactions within the lending / borrowing on exchanges. So there's So there's no worry about an actual human having to worry about getting their funds back or whatever. It's all done automatically. The amount of funds/crypto that I'm able to borrow is in correlation to the amount of funds and or crypto I hold in my margin account. There's a risk percentage that is calculated against how much funds I'm bringing to the table. If the risk percentage reaches 95%, my account gets liquidated by the algorithms and pays back the lender no matter what. So there will never be a problem with the lender getting their funds and interest returned to them. The algorithms are programmed to where it's fundamentally impossible for me to take or not pay the funds back. Okay, that's definitely good to know. Also, once I've made a borrow, I cannot transfer anything out of my margin account below where I can't cover the loan under my current risk percentage. That being said, everything is very safe and 100% real. Now, this is just an email that I received, so remember that. And you're guaranteed your funds plus interest in return. So this person was actually doing the borrowing end. I was wanting to, or they were borrowing. I was curious about lending. So I'm actually glad that this is someone from the other end who's paying, because I was kind of thinking, like, who's paying these interest rates? So there's no explanation. Wait, that being said, everything's safe. There's no other explanation because it's under the control of the algorithms and ultimately under the control of KuCoin. By the way, KuCoin is an excellent exchange with 1 out of every 4 crypto holders using KuCoin. They also offer consumer AI trading bots, which is very cool as well. Anywho, hopefully I explained everything thoroughly enough so that's understandable. Well, that was Tyler. Thank you for that explanation. So I might, you know what? I might just go ahead and I might have to make a video on that. Take like 10 grand, put it into KuCoin, lend it out for 28 days, and I'll just test and see how legitimate it is, and I'll be the guinea pig for you guys, because I think it's interesting. It's like 60% annual interest. The one thing I like about it is you can test it out for like 7 days and just see, like, is this real or not? So I don't want to recommend anyone does this. I just think that's something that's interesting, and I think I'm just going to try it for myself, and then I'll report back. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. So we're up in the $9 again. I wonder if that 940 mark, 948 is what we hit real briefly. That 940 mark is really what was giving us a thorn in the butt cheek last week. So I wonder if we can blow right past that. So Rodney in the chat says, I got sent here after Trey got off. I lost connection and loaded back into Uncle Bruce's stream, even though I was here. Then I don't know what's going on with YouTube. The YouTube algorithm just loves Uncle Bruce. I think he fits a good niche of like the streamer who's old and like this knowledgeable father figure. There's nothing like that. There's no one looking for the long-haired hippie-looking guy who might have some fundamental knowledge. AMC popping off. I didn't realize all of you were saying AMC when I was reading that. But here we are. What kind of shirt ideas do you guys have, or merch ideas? Because I know some people have asked for merch. If you have any good ideas, I will make it into a shirt. I'm happy I could help. Steve, he says, I found your channel looking for PPP info. You helped tremendously. I'm happy to help. I've pretty much made it like my life's goal to make sure that everyone who can get that PPP loan applies and gets that darn thing, because it's so much better than a stimulus check for anyone who is self-employed or has self-employed earnings. Stonk Jesus. Some people get mad every time I say stock Jesus or anything Jesus. They're like, you are not Jesus. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. I don't actually think that I'm stock Jesus. To the moon, but coffee first. That's pretty good. There could be a good play on like bless these portfolio gains or something like that. Also, if anyone sends me a design that I end up using, I'll send you $100 right then and there. So if you send me any good designs. Get someone to draw a caveman / Neanderthal floating around in space. That would be good. Like the spaceship maybe off in the distance and like the tether broke and you're just kind of like floating. You can send ideas to maxmahershow@gmail.com. Something similar to the Geico caveman commercial. Stocks, so easy a caveman can do it. Like a thumbs up. A collab shirt with you and Trey. Trey Max, a medication for stock trading. Trey gets you up and Max mellows you out. That's pretty good. Make it look like a prescription. I'm going to have to write that down. So channel, I'll check out this person's art. Thanks for what's in your wallet. That's funny. All right, let's see here. Yeah, email any ideas, especially designs. Like I said, if you send me a design that I end up using on a shirt or a mug or whatever, $100 straight to you. But I can't choose just every single design and make a shirt out of it because I don't want to have like a billion options. You know, it's better, I think, to have like 5 to 7 solid options. So make sure it's solid. Yeah, weed is legal in Arizona. I don't know if I can say that on the stream, the W word, but it just became legal. GameStop floating right around 20% up. Not too shabby. Also, again, if anyone is like an expert at Discord and setting things up there, has a good understanding of it, shoot me an email as well because I want to get that set up. I'm just kind of a newbie when it comes to Discord, and I was trying to work it the other day, and I was like, I need like some advice here, because I want to have like a Discord for members. Max the profit. That is good. And then maybe there can be like an X through it, so it's like PROFIT. That there's some good designs that could go into that, you know, like the Palantir up 1%. I almost feel like I should just unpin Palantir, because like looking at it every day is going to make me go crazy, and I just don't care what it does every single day. TLRY up 7%. Wow, TLRY's been having a pretty good day actually, after its big old dip. If I end up making money on my TLRY investment, my mind is going to be blown. I think I will in the very long term, but right now it just seems like I'm so far down in the pit. Any updates to forbearance in the new bill? I have several clients that are coming up on the 1 year. Is that mortgage forbearance or student loan forbearance? Can you clarify that? Do most companies require outside investment to start? Well, it depends. Like a tech company, a lot of those do. If you're trying to have like crazy growth, like these companies that, you know, we talk about on these streams, you pretty much do. If you're starting just a regular old service type business, usually not. There's plenty of businesses that can be started for even under $10,000 that can make you enough money. So if you have no money, I think that's the way to do it. Get some business experience, get some cash in the door by just starting a business that's, you know, a reliable service that people are already looking for. You know, they're boring. I own a moving company. It's no one's saying that a moving company is exciting, but it produces me cash every single month. Do those, get your industry experience, and then maybe 5 years from then, when you have more cash, more connections, more experience, then you can transition that into something much bigger and maybe more exciting as well. How much did I buy Palantir for? Let me double check my average price. Let's see. Got it at a pretty good price. Average price of $22.44. I'm up 7.7% right now. Do I think this is just a reaction of stimulus checks, or that we are still in an early bear market? Or is this the end of the correction and we're continuing into the bullish trend? So I would take today's gains with somewhat of a grain of salt because of the stimulus. Every time a stimulus bill is pretty much announced to go through, or it's very likely to go through, like right now we're looking at like a 99% probability that this thing gets passed through, maybe 99.8%. So every time that happens, the markets go up. Because of it. We already saw the markets go up a little bit when the House approved it, so we're seeing this last little boop up. So I would take today with a grain of salt. It could be the swing into, you know, more of a bull market. You know, the correction could potentially be over. However, there's no guarantees there. Like I said, I would take today with a grain of salt. So on mortgage forbearance, We don't have the official stimulus bill text yet. Once I have that, I'll have a better idea as to, you know, what goes into all of those programs. As far as I can tell, though, mortgage forbearance has just been extended even longer. But once we have the full bill text, we'll know a little bit more. Yeah, people always comment on my nose whistle. I never notice it, but it's probably because I've broken my nose 3 times. So luckily it's not all jacked up though. So GameStop up 24% now. Let me put this on the minute. Look at that. Up to 175 bucks. So I would expect another correction like this. I mean, let's just do a little Fibonacci. I did that reverse. I should have done it from the top. What am I doing here? Okay, Fibonacci. Okay. Anyways, we can see in the last bump up, we saw a decline of nearly 78% of the gains from that bump up. And it looks like it's pretty similar from the bump before that. So even though it's trending upwards, I'm just saying this in terms of people who are thinking, oh, is this a good time to buy in? We'll probably see some kind of downward swing. Let me clear this one. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Clear that. So if we do another Fibonacci here on this most recent run up to where we're at right now, we can, I would say we can expect this thing to at least dip down to 167-ish at one point. As of right now, this might continue up a little bit further before continuing upwards. So if you're looking at a potential entry point, you know, it probably is going to dip down to the high 160s again before running up. Unless people hop on this hype train and they're like, oh, don't miss your bus tickets to the stratosphere here on AMC, or I mean on GameStop. Look at that thing. Keeps on climbing. What's the volume at? Volumes was at least high in that minute. Fairly high. AMC's volume, still not crazy high though. Volume in AMC. There, that's more high volume AMC when it hit that peak. I don't know, we might see this break that 940 point. $10 would sure be wild with AMC. Look at that. Just shy of 180 bucks. Didn't I buy GME? Unfortunately, I only have one share of GameStop. But I bought it at $100, so whatever. I'll take my 78% increase on paper. AMC to the moon? Question mark. Oh, Palantir's now even. Palantir's just been having swings all day from -2% to +2%. Old Faithful here is up 1%. Senseonics is having a good day, up 8.3%, which makes sense that it's up, at least in the short run. I don't know why they were down on Friday so significantly. I think they ended like down 11% or so, but they had their earnings call the night before, and it was by far their best quarter of the year. Then the stock goes down 11%. Like, what is going on here? Now, I still think it's too expensive where it sits, but you'd think good news would increase the price. What's happening with Palantir? I thought it would go up. I've said a million times, in the short run, this thing could go down, it could go sideways, it could go anywhere. In the long run, I believe it'll go up. So even if this thing is down 20%, 30% next week, it doesn't matter in my opinion, because next year, 2 years from now, that's when I'm expecting gains. If it goes down 30% though, I'm probably going to buy more. Look at that. Oh, holy smokes. We might hit $200 again. Let me change, I'm going to change the, change the title here. Sweet. Make sure you guys like the stream and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We're getting closer and closer to 200,000 subscribers, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Also, I need to have some water. That was a loud gulp. Look at that. Oh, $194. We're going to break 200, I bet. I mean, I would expect some kind of sell-off here, but I don't know, maybe not. So we peaked so far at 194.66. Come on, is there going to be a fight here to turn this green? Volume was heavy in that minute, 860,000 in volume. We're fighting here. You can see there's a lot of back and forth. This might be it. Oh, it broke through. Positive. Just squeaked through. Someone can let me know how to turn back the shares that are going through here. I don't want to Google it while I have this screen up. I can't remember. Come on, it's fighting. It is fighting. Nope, no halts. It has to go up more than 10% in 5 minutes. So it would have to go up 20 bucks in 5 minutes. This thing is fighting, holding strong. I don't see how to, I had him on there earlier. All right, let me try and Googling it over here. It's still fighting. It's still at 187 bucks. Remember, even though it's gone down, that's still a big win for the day. Does Doug Ducey know about you? No, I don't think Doug Ducey knows who I am. Okay, so we're seeing a bit of a sell-off here. I mean, remember, on these sell-offs, we saw 70-some% sell-off. So, I mean, we could see it go all the way down to 166, 165. Check in on AMC here real quick. AMC is looking a little bit more stable growth. Eyes is up 89% now, so they had their correction from their peak. Basically cut that in half from its peak. Okay, so it looks like we're building back up here. Let's see where that would put us. We, of course, don't know what's going to happen in the next minute, but right at 50% seems to be a level of support, right at that 50% drop from the peak, from this most recent about 15-minute peak. Oh, now we're going back down through. Spoke too soon. Spoke too darn soon. What do we think? It's going to go down to this 176 or 170? Oh, it's fighting. It's fighting. What's the volume looking like here? 400,000, 700,000, 400,000, 500,000, 600,000, 800,000. Are we just refueling the rocket ship? That is the question. Okay, there we go. Just touched, or almost touched. That's 61% decrease. Now we're eking our way back up. I really wonder how much of the Fibonacci chart is so many people looking at the Fibonacci chart and how much of it is just these are just these magical ratios. Nicho Pico in the chat. I just tried day trading for the first time. Down 30%. I'm a natural. Yeah, you're a natural day trader. Right on right on the averages. That's how it goes. I honestly expected Palantir to be up higher today just because of the stimulus. Not really anything besides stimulus related, at least have a little peak today. So I'm surprised we're actually not seeing this up like 4 or 5%. Hey Timmy, I'm glad I could help you out with that PPP. Help you out with your PPP. It's awesome to hear that you're able to get funding. Dang, Tyson Foods up 1.5%. I know you guys are probably sick of me talking about Tyson Foods because everyone's like, no one cares about Tyson Foods, but whatever. How's Tesla doing today? Down just a little tad from opening. A lot of people are saying now's a good time to get into Tesla. For me, it's just, I just don't know. I just don't know if it is or not. Oh yeah, we were going to look at, thanks to whoever reminded me of Gamble, Esports Entertainment Company. Gamble stock price. Market cap of $265 million. Small amount of shares outstanding. Surprising enough. Oh, looks like we don't really have any data to look at. Wow, big jump up in 2 quarters though. So in order to value this, I would have to do a real deep dive in the management and what they own. Offers a bet exchange style wagering on esports events in a licensed, regulated, and secure platform. Wow. Okay. It's never a bad idea to buy into the casino. That's for sure. Now it could potentially have already, swallowed up the value, because it has only 2 quarters. So we want to be hesitant. They don't have a huge history, and a $265 million market cap is massive for just a couple $1 million in sales. Stonk Jesus. Someone says, I wonder how Trey feels after the Sensionics video. Well, I actually went on his live stream and we were talking about Sensionics. So, I mean, he understands where I came from and he just has a different opinion on it. That's totally fine. Doesn't mean we hate each other or anything like that. I don't know. He told me his thoughts on it. I told him mine. There's no hard feelings or anything like that whatsoever. He probably thinks my bet in Palantir isn't justified. Maybe, I don't know. Back up to 185. Okay, so we're slowly growing back up. I think we might break that $200 mark. Hey, caveman. Can we get some of that good BGM? Is that a stock? I'm not even sure what BGM is. Someone says, don't you think it's crazy how everyone thinks YouTubers all have to agree? Yeah, that definitely is crazy, and that breeds an unhealthy investing environment, in my opinion. You need conversing opinions. I put up my Palantir video and I literally invite people to, like, I ask multiple people, hey, can you watch this and tell me where I'm wrong? Because if I'm going to put my money into this, I want to know where I'm wrong. That's why I put it out there. That way I can look at the comments, look at what people are saying. And if they're like, no, you're an idiot because of X, Y, and Z, I'm going to say thank you, because I was about to put in money in that. And with Palantir, for example, though, no one really had anything of merit that I thought would be a big issue against it. So that's why I made a bet. With Senseonics, I have dealt with some angry people who are invested in Senseonics who don't agree with what I had to say. But I say in there, this is just one person's opinion based on the research I did. So that's just how it goes. You know, I'd rather be honest. If I'm going to spend that much time researching a company, I'm going to put out a video on it and give my honest opinion. As to, you know, how I feel about that company. Okay, so we're seeing this sell off a little bit. Oh, background music. Yeah, I got to hold off on the background music for a while because YouTube is mad at me for my copyright strikes. And people aren't able to find my streams. It's been a whole ordeal. I'm dealing with 62 copyright strikes from my old stream. So unfortunately, that's where we sit right now. So let's see here. What do I think about FRX? 1 billion in revenue, 3 billion market cap. That's got my name written all over it. I'll check that out in a minute. See, that's what I was playing, was Epidemic Sounds, and I have a subscription to them, but I just have to file a claim for all of these, and it just takes a whole bunch of time. So even if I have the rights, if I have to file a claim, it's a huge process. So let's look at FRX. Just sing for us. Forest Road Acquisition. Interesting. Is that what they do? Acquire forest roads? Why is there no profile? Come on, profile. Okay. No profile, that's weird. Why does it show no market cap either? What is going on here? No data available. Let's see if Yahoo has it. I don't like Yahoo's charts as much, but you know, sometimes they have stuff that MarketWatch doesn't have. I guess not. Sorry, I tried. Need some biblical beats. That's funny. All right, what's going on here? GME. The dust has settled a little bit, refueling the rocket ship. And with AMC, a little steadier. Looks like we might be forming a big fat George W. The potential. We're one arm away from a big fat George W. Geez, Tyson up almost 2% now today. Holy smokes. Was there some news or something that came out? No super recent like announcements, it doesn't seem. It's because of all the chicken tendies they've been serving. We've been serving in the stock market. That's a good point. All right, some consolidation here. Palantir down 0.25%. Oh yeah, I heard John Oliver talked about Tyson Foods, but I mean, they get all sorts of negative news. I think that's one of the reasons why it's not, or why it's a good value for the dollar right now, because it's never going to be that company that's like, oh, everyone should hop into this, because it's somewhat controversial what they do, but it still produces cash and dividends. So if you can get beyond that from a pure investment standpoint. Can I look up OPK? Sure, we'll pull that up. OPKO Health. Big market cap, $2.9 billion. Revenue per employee is okay at $272,000 per employee. Oh, they have earnings. PDE of 88. Biopharmaceutical and diagnostics company, which engages in the provision of healthcare services, operates through the following segments: diagnostics and pharmaceuticals. Okay, let's look at their financials. 5-year sales trend was downtrending, but they figured something out. So I'd be curious to see what they did differently in 2020. Is that stable? Will they continue to grow? The 5-quarter trend looks perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. And they have net income in the last 3 quarters. Love to see that. So it looks like they just turned over to profitability. Yeah, this year. So that's a huge move. I don't know if their earnings just came out or not. They're up 3% today. Let's see what the 1 year. Kind of fluctuating. It doesn't seem like it's really been absorbed. So we're the same price right now as it was when the company wasn't profitable. It's actually slightly cheaper. So if it was a good, if people thought it was a good buy then, it's definitely a better buy now. So what kind of debt do we have with this company? $800 million in total liabilities. So that's heavy on the liabilities for sure. Heavy on the liabilities, especially compared to net income. Now we can probably expect that net income to go up in the next quarter or next year as well. $30 million in profit on $1 billion in sales. So, I mean, this one, what's its price to sales? That should say on the profile. Price to sales 1.76. So its sales were 1.44 billion. Let me just calculate this myself because I don't always trust these price to sales. So market cap, $2.83 billion divided by, I'm losing my mind, was it 1.44? Yeah. So price to sales of 1.96. Not too bad. So this is a potential to jump in on the biotech end. There's still, a lot of questions you want answers to. Is the increase in sales sustainable? What's the management like? What's the future outlook? What's the industry outlook? But definitely a potential value play, or growth play, I should say. Worth checking into a little bit further. All right, we're seeing some consolidation around this 178 price. All right, I think that's going to do it for this stream. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe if you like what we got going on here, because I know YouTube's probably not going to notify you of these streams. Get your free stocks if you haven't already at that pinned comment. I'll be back later on this week with more streams, more videos every single day. So I'll see you next time. Goodbye.